Navigating your way through the ascension process is never easy, and in most cases is tremendously confusing and concerning. Vibe Nation radio hosts Carrie Turcott and Dean Thomas lift the veils of illusions and speak plain and simple truth about what is really going on. Each week, they will guide you through the latest energy shifts and discuss essential tools to help you on your journey. They will be joined regularly by fellow soul family members who will have a skill or topic to discuss that is important to share. At the end of each show, they tap into the energies of the listeners and see what Spirit has to share with you for the week ahead. If you really want to get to know who you truly are, come and join us now on Vibe Nation Radio, here on the IUM Radio Network.
Hi, good evening everyone, and welcome to Vibe Nation Radio. Hope you're all doing really well this Monday afternoon. I'm trying to connect with my special guest right now. She seems to be very busy, but let's talk about the energies that are going on, what's going on around us. Seems to be lots of interesting things going on. Well, what I could say, I took a week off last week, didn't I? And I took a lot of time for myself, a lot of time for reflection, and I believe this is the message that the universe is giving us right now, is to take a deeper look into ourselves, at what we're doing and how we're doing it, and why we're doing it. And it's interesting, really, really interesting. We're coming into a new moon in the next couple of days also, and I'm sure that many of you are feeling this energy, this vibration of coming into new, letting go of all that doesn't serve us. And I think I've finally got Isabel on the line. This evening we're going to talk about Akashic Records and...
Hello.
Hi Isabel, how are you?
Hi Dean, how are you? And hi everyone.
I was just talking to the listeners, or just speaking out loud about the listeners, about the energies, about the new moon coming up and how these energies are shifting and bringing us to a new level, a new opportunity of starting new and moving forward into another paradigm, another dimension, a new reality. And, you know, today I've seen a few veils of illusion lifted. You know, this recent news release yesterday of hidden money and money laundering going on in Panama. And I just wonder out loud, is this the beginning of what was promised, that all of the veils of illusion will be lifted and the truth will finally come to bear? What do you think, Isabel?
I believe that's true. I believe the planet is raising consciousness right now. I believe we're starting to get rid of so many illusions, so many wrong beliefs, and so many things that has been holding us for so long into this illusion, which is of suffering, of self-punishment, and many other negative energies. And I think that now we have the opportunity to start getting rid of that and to reset our souls and to start over as a better planet in a better way. So yes, Dean, I believe that's totally true. And for me, in my personal experience, I have been going through this racing of consciousness, through building different beliefs for myself, which has been giving me freedom. And I know everybody's a lot of people is feeling the same way. There's so much energy going around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, you know, one of the things that I've noticed is the definite shift. I mean, there's a lot of people struggling to remove these, let's say, negative influences from their lives. They're still living in this, what's going to happen if I do this, the consequences of my actions, and they're afraid, really afraid of what the new is all about. It's like diving into the pool of life, as I will call it. You're diving into unknown territory, and you just really have to go with the flow and have complete faith and confidence in yourself. I mean, this is something that I've done in the last week to 10 days of another self-discovery, standing into my own power. And a lot of those that I'm teaching are also finding that they are stepping into their own power, and they so badly want to break free of this false paradigm that we've created here on Gaia at this point in time, that it's really, they're afraid because it's so unknown. It's sort of, you know, they're creating a completely new template.
Exactly. And I believe that with this great opportunity, we are starting to be aware of who we really are, and we're starting to remember who we are and all the unlimitless opportunities and horizons that are there for us to express our highest potential. So, for example, going into that subconscious mind and being able to be aware of what's happening there is something new, and it's something that started with this new shift of the planet, of the consciousness of the earth. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people are starting to be aware of that, and aware that every single emotion that I feel in my present moment is not something that it just happened like by accident. It's something that has a root in the subconscious, in more than the subconscious mind, and that's what we're going to talk about, the Akashic Records, which is also called the superconscious mind, is because we as souls has a history in the incarnational process, and a lot of things are holding us back, that, and the roots of those things are there in the Akashic, in the subconscious mind, and even in the conscious mind. So that's starting to be aware of that. It's a big and huge shift in our lives.
Yeah, but I'm a great believer that we are to be who we need to be our true authentic selves. We actually need to take a closer look back at who we are, not just in this lifetime, but to try and remember who we have once been, what we have once done, and to heal these traumas, these life experiences that we've brought through with us in this current lifetime, the baggage as we call it, and to learn the lessons from those lives to enable us to clear them. And I know that there are very many great advocates around the world that totally endorse past life regression, that talk about Akashic Records, that we are an infinite soul that has been here many, many times before. And the way that the consciousness of this planet is changing right now, we are beginning to remember, but our conscious mind doesn't allow us, or doesn't acknowledge what it is, and it doesn't know what it is. And this is what causes people to go into this, I say, headless chicken mode. They're really running around. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what's going on. And instead of taking a stop and, let's say, a checkup or a stop check on yourself and saying, okay, where is all this coming from? Because I haven't done this. I don't know that. They're continuing to continue their life path and completing circle after circle after circle, and they have this downward spiral. And this is why I totally encourage all of my students and those that I speak to, that it's to look in that mirror at oneself, and to look into your eyes, and to take a deeper look at where you've come from, and start to look at past lives, and look at your Akashic Records and in a deeper level, and also look at where your planets were lining up when you were born, and you know, these also have a relevance onto who you are today and where you've been today. And most people that I'm talking to of late are all having resonance with Egypt and Greece, these ancient cultures. So I think, you know, how important are the Akashic Records in trying to understand where we're going and what we have to heal, Isabel?
Well, I'm gonna try to explain it in a practical way. So first we have the conscious mind, which is everything we see, is how we react, is how the information is processed in real time, in the moment. We also have the subconscious mind, which is this kind of recorder, or this computer that files everything that happens in this present life. And so it just go like, and every experience that we have go through to these files, and everything since we were on, since we were born, has been recorded there. But then also we have the superconscious mind, or the Akashic Records, which is where all the information since we started our first incarnation is being saved. Is everything is there. And so what happened is, when this information, or when there's beliefs, or when there's events that hasn't been healed, or that the soul didn't the right conscious about it, it's holding wrong beliefs or unsupporting beliefs that and those reasons or those beliefs over there is what it makes the soul to create a reality, which is what it's living in this present life. We are creators. You agree, right, Dean? We are
absolutely.
Creators.
Yep.
Of our own reality in each and every second. We are responsible for each and every moment that is happening to us. So when this reality, for example, when we choose to come to this life and, for example, and have toxic parents, or to live, to have this horrible experience of, I don't know, like a sexual abuse or something, this reality was created by the soul because of certain beliefs that are hidden in those Akashic records. And for example, sometimes the soul feels that it needs to be punished. And so the soul start creating in this present life a lot of
okay, we'll continue. Yeah, we'll continue after the break. We've got a break.
Perfect. We'll continue.
The best of holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
Hi, this is Angela Levesque, host of Entanglement Radio. Join me Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern for inspiring conversations with visionaries in spiritual science and conscious healing. Entanglement Radio, Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern. Transcendent talk for the conscious mind.
Being a radio host on IOM-FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
Have you ever wondered what is blocking your greatest prosperity in any aspect of your life? Do you know that in this moment, you're actually creating your own reality? At New One Universe, we know how to access those programs, and we offer a radical way to clear and release the negative blocks and reset your soul blueprint. Come join us at newoneuniverse.org, Facebook/New One Universe.
Hello, I'm Miriam Knight of New Consciousness Review, inviting you to my new show where I interview the rising stars of the conscious awakening. We'll explore the many faces of consciousness in action and intriguing perspectives on life, the universe, and everything in between. Join us each Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern on the Rising Stars Show.
The future of Internet radio is here. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
Well, here we are back again. I've got Isabel with me from New One Universe. And we just before the break, we were discussing We were discussing the Akashic Records and how the Akashic Records have a relevance in our life today. And one of the things, Isabel, that I find interesting about just before you disappeared into the music was the message from the soul and how the soul wants to go through pain. And much the same as the human psyche wants to go through pain because of what it's felt in this lifetime. So psychology and Akashic Records seem to be on a similar playing field. Would that be about right? But one's on a spiritual level and one's on a soul level and one's on a let's say on a reality level.
Exactly. I believe you're totally right. Everything is part of it. Even the psychology is just the part of the conscious mind and kind of the subconscious mind, and that's how it works. And let's say in the spiritual world, we work with the Akashic Records or super conscious mind, and also with the conscious mind. And so everything is part of it. But for me, spirituality is everything. Psychology and the physical world is spiritual. Mm-hmm. So where I was saying, yes, and you were right. Like we as souls, we pick so many lifetimes to suffer, because I have encountered when I do a session is that people have these huge beliefs of desire to suffer, which is a self-punishment. Why? Because in the incarnational process, we have been through so many lives, doing so many things. We have been everything. We have been the murderer. You have been, bad people, the rapists. And we have been so many things, because that's why we are here for. We are here to learn through experience. We are here to remember that we are light even through those experiences. And so those beliefs of desire to suffer, self-punishment, unworthiness, low self-esteem, they all come not only from what happened in this present life, but from things or unresolved energies and beliefs that of events that happen in past lives. So yes, Dean, I think you are totally right. But now we have this great opportunity to read those Akashic Records or that library. How? When we develop our intuition, because I believe everybody can do this, Dean. Mm-hmm. If people just start being aware of that, and it's just like exercise. If I want to develop the ability to go and work with my intuition and connect with those Akashic Records, I can do it. Everybody can do it. So it's just a matter of willingness and just wanting to do it, right? What do you think?
Well, I totally agree. Nothing is impossible, and we can achieve anything that we want to, what we would like to from life. And manifestation is much the same. If you put positive energy into something, you will achieve your biggest and greatest desires, because it's just the energy that you put behind it. And a lot of people, that are awakening now are afraid. And there's so much, let's say, garbage on the internet about what this is and what that is, and it's all just a mixed bag of misinformation and disinformation. And the good information is really pushed down and suppressed, because my view on this reality is that nobody wants us to know, nobody wants us to remember, because we are all in control. We are being controlled. And those that are awakening now or those that have been awakening for forever, have all discovered that there's more to reality, the reality in which they live, than just that exists in their external world. And developing and training our conscious mind and subconscious mind and superconscious mind to really open up to this, all that is, and just being, and take away these needs of gratification, instant gratification, and gluttony, and a need to conform to what we are told is to conform by. We're setting ourselves free. We don't want to be clogged down with what goes on outside our world. And as we awaken and as we're ascending, we are pushed internally, and our conscious mind sometimes doesn't have the answers, and we have to go beyond our conscious mind. And what I find with the students that I interact with are, once we trigger the psychological healing, this unblocks the subconscious thought process or everything that's been suppressed around that, let's say, memory or that incident. And then lo and behold, the intuition opens up and allows further information to be downloaded to help them heal that dark soul memory or that previous lifetime that they've experienced a similar situation. So effectively what we're doing today is clearing not only this lifetime, but also previous lifetimes and those soul lessons that we've brought with us.
Exactly, Dee. And I want to share an example, and it's going to be a personal experience. Mm-hmm. So before I started with this process, I was completely broke and completely in debt. And even if I had great ideas and great things, my financial situation was always very, very bad. So when I started the process, for example, I encountered different things, different wrong beliefs that I got. So first of all, I had beliefs of that, for example, money was the root of all evil, for example. Why? Because I remember my mother always saying those things, or because when she took me to church, that's what they were saying, and they were saying that, for example, that doesn't matter, is not important. And so I grow with those beliefs. Mm-hmm. And not only that, but like I was scared of that. And so every time I wanted to look for, for abundance in my life, I was going to block it because those beliefs were there until I realized those beliefs were there. When I realized that those beliefs were there, and I started to transforming that into a positive expression, then I started looking into, okay, but why is it that I came here to create that? Like, where is that coming from? So then with awareness, with the process of spiritual response therapy, I just realized that in many lives, in past lives that I haven't healed before, I was very greedy. So I went to this different, my previous life, I kind of like did everything for money, but I didn't care about people, right? So What happened is my soul carried that self-punishment feeling or program, saying that, no, I cannot have money and I will not have money because I know I'm going to hurt a lot of people. So, but that's not true because you are a different person now. I am a different person now. That's totally not true anymore. We can create our lives differently. And money is just a tool, it's just a tool. It's just the tool we have in this planet to create, right? Mm-hmm. So it's just changing those beliefs, but realizing where that comes from. And so it's very interesting. Yeah, the way I see it is just as like movies in my head. And when I do clearings for other people, that's what I see. I just see the movies of what's going on, what was there, where is that coming from, how was the past life. Sometimes you don't need details about the past life. Sometimes you do. It's depending on how important it is for the soul at the moment. But I mean, we can do it, and this is a time for us to be aware not only what's happening or in our present life, but where is our soul situated in the incarnational process.
Okay, so I mean, it's interesting what you say. I mean, how do you access the Akashic Records for your students or for your clients?
So for me, it's about first connection. I ask permission to the higher self of the person, of the patient, and so with the spiritual response therapy, which is just a book of charts and a pendulum, it just helped me. It's just a tool that helps me go through certain information that helps me create a better image in my mind. But I also can do it like without the tool. It's just that it's easier sometimes because of the information that is there. But it's just that when you connect to other person and through the higher self, and you like start working with your intuition, it's just you start seeing things and you start feeling the energies of what happened there. So for example, if I am clearing an event which happened when he was little, I will start seeing certain images of a situation or energies. I see that it could be your father. I see your father, and I see these energies, or maybe this happened. So the person start relating. Yes, this is true. That's what happened. This event happened. Sometimes even when you were this age, traumatic experience happened. So let's work on that experience. Let's heal that. Let's transform that, because it's holding you up. It's holding your ability to express yourself in many ways. So the way to do it is just connecting with the higher self, and through spirit, receiving the information that is needed. I'm just a facilitator. I'm just a channel, and I will just facilitate the help for the person to start bringing that information. So reading the Akashic Records is just setting the intention and actually being open to receive the information that is coming, because it's going to come.
Well, one way or another, it always comes, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Whether we realize it or not, there are no coincidences in life, and we are always confronted with situations, and we are drawn to take a deeper look at this information that we're receiving, or these incidents that are happening to us. And what I find very interesting lately is that the circles are becoming tighter, so that it's virtually becoming a spiral, and the energies are forcing us, if we're not willing to, let's say, take a closer look, or take that closer look, or take that leap of faith into the unknown, of clearing ourselves and clearing our energies, or confronting the shadow side of us, for want of a better expression. And I'll continue after the break.
Conscious media for conscious minds. OMTimes.
Looking for inspiration?
Want to be inspired?
Not sure where to go?
Find Mark and Kim every Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern on Inspired Living.
Topics will elevate consciousness and range from metaphysics to the human and social experience and all things spiritual.
Welcome to an inspired community that offers support, encouragement, and new ways of thinking. You are the inspired and the inspiration.
Host your show on OMFM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Are you seeking an alternative way to heal your mind, body, and soul? Reiki can be the answer for many of you. Whether through touch or remote transfer of powerful universal life energies, we can activate the natural processes to help you restore the perfect balance in your life. As an Usui Reiki master, I can help you to realize your full potential with immediate result. Find me through Facebook for further details at Triple Goddess Healing.
This is Terry Van Horn, and I want to invite you to join me for my weekly radio show, Healing Light, on OMTimes Radio every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On Healing Light, we want to bring love, light, and blessings into your world. You can find out more about us at www.healinglightonline.com. Blessings.
Free your mind with OMTimes Radio, IOM-FM.
Here we are again. We're back again. And with me this evening is Isabel from New One Universe. And we're talking about the Akashic Records, and I'm going to speak a little bit louder so I can turn this music down a bit. And we were talking earlier, I was talking just now about this downward spiral that people are confronted with if they refuse to address the repetitive patterns and the repetitive behaviors, or let's say, am I right, the darkness in our lives. And life events continually evolve and bring us to these crossroads, and free will is free will. Our free will lead us when it needs to lead us, but sometimes we have to push our free will aside. And I believe what we're talking about is really channeling this negative energy through the Akashic Records and releasing it. Isabel, is this right?
That is totally right, Dean. And other thing that I wanted to say, and I know you have experienced the same way, and is very uncomfortable. Healing is not a comfortable thing. After that it is, because it's very, like, you feel the freedom. But while you go through the process, Dean, it's very hard. And so what happened is that people sometimes are afraid of, like, stepping out of their comfort zone and kind of like being brave and just go through those situations. Because what happened is, when you go to the past just to see it, nothing else, just to releasing those energies, and those energies comes through to your life, that's so uncomfortable. And so I have encountered a lot of people that, even knowing that this process is gonna help you so much, they choose not doing it because of the fear of feeling uncomfortable and dealing with those energies or those emotions that need to be released. So do you have any, Dean, experience of that? Yes, it's so uncomfortable, right?
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's one of the biggest things that we're afraid of is pain. It's a natural, let's say, an instinct. It's programmed into us that pain is not healthy. I have the opposite. I have one of the things I experienced when I was 26 or 27 in Indonesia, in Bali. I experienced a blind masseur, and he told me, if there's no pain, there is no gain. And this is how I learned massage, the art of massage. He just basically said for me to follow his fingers and his motion, which I managed to do, and I still use it today because it's something that was implanted in me. It was a gift from him. He was a blind guy, 82 years old, and I was 6 hours under his hands, and just every motion, every movement that he shared with me is in my mind. And this is what I practice on some of my students, is when we're releasing some of this negativity that's trapped inside our bodies, is through massage. But I've deviated from Akashic Records to massage for some reason, but we're afraid to deal with this pain. And one of the things I believe that we should not forget, it can no longer hurt us. What we're experiencing is the release. It's the volcano erupting, and it's that release that is needed to set us free. And I believe the Akashic Records, I've had the pleasure of having my Akashic Records read, and so much of it is real, so much of it is true, much like past life regression. So much of this, what we're experiencing today, all comes from somewhere or something that we've done before.
You're exactly right, Dean. And it's interesting because pain, it's a belief that it's actually different in every single person. For example, for me, I can feel pain, for example, because somebody rejected me, let's say, right? But for other person, they will not feel anything. For them, they just will be like, oh, okay, you are rejecting me, then I'll go to another person. That's it, right? So it depends. So it depends on what's causing the pain. And sometimes we actually, and what I was talking about the desire to suffer, is that sometimes people like pain, but the thing is that pain is just a false belief of something that we're holding on. For example, attachments. So if we don't learn that, everybody have the free will to choose their own paths, and that doesn't mean that they are rejecting us. So of course we're gonna feel pain. Of course we're gonna feel uncomfortable. So it always depends. So for me, it's not and I know for you, Dean, is like that. For me, I'm not afraid of pain, and not because I am always looking for pain, no, but because I know how to master that pain and to transform that pain into something positive for me, into something even beautiful. Yep. Right, Dean? What do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's really converting negative into positive, and this is the law of physics. Two negatives make a positive. This is one of the laws of physics, and it is all about converting energies from some transforming energies or releasing energies that no longer serve us, and leaving what remains is pure and good and clear. And one of the things I experienced through my Akashic Records and through the release that I subsequently had was this tremendous lifting of energy, and it was replaced with positivity. And the same with past life regressions. The emotional response and the physical response that I went through going through a past life regression was tremendous. I didn't feel anything as a person, but how I was acting was like a person that was in pain. So I was reliving that moment and allowing it to come through into this current incarnation and to be released into the light, so that I no longer carry that burden with me. And this has been throughout all my life. And I've said this on many times, that I have lived, in the last year, I've lived 10 lifetimes. Is because this is the cleaning and the cleansing and the purging that I've gone through, not only through acknowledging my Akashic Records, but past life regressions, current lifetime memories, and traumas that have to be cleared to allow this purity to come through. And one of the things that I do believe is, if we are awake and we are on an ascension path, the more we cleanse ourselves, the more we heal, and the more that we confront what is this fear and confront what is supposed to be pain, the braver we are, the more resilience we have, and the more our hearts are open, and we are able to allow goodness in to replace whatever remains in us. And then we leave this incarnation with as pure a soul as possible. I'm not sure your views on that, Isabel.
Oh my God, Dean, you just say it so right. Like it's like that, and it's through these breakthroughs or these processes or this confronting yourself and being aware of is the only way of being aware of who you are. And yeah, I mean, we need to start taking out all these layers and layers and layers that we have going through for us to be able to find ourselves, to remember who we are, to remember the light that we are, and it's like a transformation. That's the only way of transformation. So I just really want to invite the people that are hearing us, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of reaching into all the levels of your being, because that's going to be your freedom, and that's the way for you to reach your highest potential. And it's so beautiful. And like you say, Dean, for me right now, it's like I'm living so many lifetimes at the same time. Even time, it's so weird. It's so different. Like I know we were talking about like 2 days ago, Dean, how for me a year, I don't even realize how the time is passing by.
Yep.
Because I'm so excited, and the more I go through these clearings, I'm more joyful and enjoying every single moment, and time just passes by and you don't even realize that. I remember before, when I was completely depressed or bored, 1 hour was like eternal, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is I asked somebody asked me today how my weekend was, and I said, well, what day is it today? And I didn't really, I know today is Monday, but I was lost in time. And we shouldn't forget that time in the universe has no relevance. It's only this planet or this evolution that has allowed time to take control. And, we have all these time zones around the world. I mean, we created these things for our convenience or for man's convenience. Before clocks were around, time was irrelevant. Nobody needed to know the time. You woke up in the morning when it was sunrise. You went to bed when it was sunset. And we have limited, in my opinion, our own ability to expand our consciousness. And, we can evolve as human beings and continue to develop and be creative. But I believe that what we're doing is we're preventing our conscious mind from expanding. And it's that expansion that is really needed to understand ourselves as human beings, ourselves as individuals, to understand our own soul path and our own journey. And then through that expansion of consciousness, we're able to share that with others and allow them also to see, which is effectively is the human race expanding their conscious minds and spreading this unconditional love where we should be spreading it, and instead of this image of what there is out there in the world today. And the Akashic Records have allowed me to recognize who I am, to recognize character traits in this lifetime and understanding where they've come from. And I think that's very, very important, is when you're on a quest for soul discovery or self-discovery, not just to think about this lifetime, it's also to delve into the past. And, there are many disbelievers about past life memories and past life or reincarnation, but it's real. It can't not be real, because we are a soul living a human experience. And as we as souls have evolved, we've decided we'll continue after the break.
The future of Internet radio is here. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Imagine receiving healing, vibration-raising energy as you listen to the radio. Energy that flows effortlessly to you. Imagine exploring all things metaphysical, sharing in an ongoing adventure. Join me, Karen Smoot, along with my co-hosts Lisa Victorson and Wendy Weber, for Immersion into Source, every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on OM Radio.
Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Vibe Nation Radio is brought to you by Carrie Turcotte and Dean Thomas. Each week we bring a refreshing outlook to lifting the veils of illusion that occur in our daily lives. We will share our own learnings and personal experience that allow others to understand who they truly are.
At the end of each show, Carrie will be tapping into the listeners' energies just to give an idea of what to expect for the week ahead. So join us each Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern, and together we will discover the inner keys that will unlock the true you.
Hi, my name is Monica and I'm the host of Co-Creating Now. Give yourself an opportunity to connect with your all-knowing higher self and manifest joy, love and peace together every Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern.
Feed your soul with waves of consciousness on OMTimes Radio.
Well, so here we are back for the final 15 or 13 minutes, and I'm joined by Isabel, who's sitting in Washington, I believe, from New One Universe. And we're touching base on the Akashic Records and how important they are. one of the things I think is important, Isabel, is how are our lives really blocked, and how can access to the Akashic Records help us clear this?
Correct. Thank you, Dean. So yes, first of all, yes, I live in Washington D.C., but I'm actually in LA right now, doing some programs. But yes, I mean, how can we see if our lives are blocked? So I see it this way: we live in different realms. We have the spiritual realm, we have the emotional realm, the mental realm, and the physical realm. So whatever is happening in the physical realm is a product or the fruits of all the other things of the spiritual, mental, and emotional realm. So how can we know? For example, how do you feel? Do you feel that you're reaching your full potential? How are your finances, for example? How are your relationships? Are you in a relationship where you feel valuable, where you feel worthy, where you feel happy? Are you in a loving relationship? Do you feel good with yourself? What's happening? The first thing you need to ask is how are you feeling right now? And so, if, for example, if somebody's broke, there's a reason why it's broke. There's a reason, and there's something that is blocking. There's some programs and false beliefs that are supporting a system or a pattern in this person's life that will always lead the person to being broke. Or if you're attracting, or if you have a boyfriend or a husband which is very angry all the time and who doesn't care about you, well, there's a reason why, and there's a reason why you pick that person, for you to be able to do some learnings, but also there's a reason in the past and your soul feels like it needs to go through that to be able to pay for certain things, for example. So there's different situations, but the most important thing is asking yourself if you feel that you're reaching your full potential in this moment, if you feel that your life is full of joy or happiness, or is not. So if it's not, there's many reasons why, and of course, like it's different in each and every single person, but that's very important to go through the process of being aware of what's happening behind that. What's happening in your subconscious mind? What's happening in your superconscious mind? So changing and transforming any discordant energies, any non-supportive beliefs will change your life in a much, much positive way, where you are going to see how energy works and how you really can create your own reality, your own life, to feel empowered of every single moment that you're living, and to know that there's no limits. There's no limits at all. Right, Dean? What do you think?
Well, there's certainly no limits to how we live our lives. It's only us that will either prevent it from happening because of free will, because we feel comfortable with what we've got, or we're in a situation that prevents us from really reaching our true authentic self. Particularly, I think in workplace, particularly in the workplace, we're following orders, or we're doing things because we're told to do them, or work has become a processing. We've lost our character, we've lost our own personality, and I know that from my own personal experience. I've ran several companies for people, and I haven't been able to exercise my power as chief executive because of the shareholders. So I'm under influence to run a company, but I can't run a company how I want to. And I believe that there are many CEOs out there that are also going through that they're really puppets. We could say that about politicians. We could say that about everybody that's out there, really. We are all puppets. We're all Pinocchios, and we're all waiting for our strings to be cut to set ourselves free. And I believe this is where we're at right now with these new energies that are for sure here. And, one of the things when you are awake, you do notice the shift in energies. You do notice the shift in consciousness. And, gone are the days where you start to think, okay, I need a paracetamol, or I need the Coldrex, or I need something like this. It's actually really, you don't need anything. It's just you're releasing energies, you're releasing toxins from your body, and you're crystallizing. Your soul and your body are merging. Your mind is also merging. And I'm a strong believer in mind, body, and soul need to be completely intertwined to allow you to really appreciate full ascension. And part of this process is understanding who you are, our history, going through your Akashic Records, going into past life regressions, and understanding what really pains us today is everything that has pained us before. And how do we stop this repetitive behavior? How do we break this cycle? And it really is releasing the chains of people that are in your life that no longer serve you, making decisions that will change your course or direction and your path because it feels right. You want to be doing things that you love to do, not things that you dislike doing, as you said. And especially in relationships also, we can recognize people that we want in our lives that bring us joy and happiness, and we can recognize people that don't bring us joy and happiness. And some people are in conflicting situations because they believe in this old familial connections, that they believe in this old template that family needs to be family and everything sticks together, and even through hell and high water. But this is untrue. This is a false pattern. This is what has been implanted and programmed into your psyche, that this is the way it should be. You create your own destiny. You are your own God. God is yourself. You have your own mind, you have your own body, you have your own soul, and you have your own higher dimensional self that is able to navigate you along the path of your journey through life without hindrance from anybody else. And it's up to you to make that conscious decision that this is the path that you want to follow. And if you have all of the information, I know that Isabel deals with spiritual response therapy, and I know that many thousands of people have benefited from spiritual response therapy because it allows them to see a completely different picture to what they have in their conscious mind.
Thank you, Ding. And you, yes, you're right with everything you're saying, and thank you for sharing that. And part of those beliefs, for example, even are blocking your ability to develop your spirituality or your intuition or your other senses. For example, for me, like it was hard to when I began this process of awakening was very hard because I have, for example, a lot of religious beliefs that were blocking me, even from my mother or from church or many other places. And I remember this one when I started to learn. For example, I started to feel energy, and I started to just naturally feel that I can send energy to other people, like what Reiki does, right? Mm-hmm. And so I remember one day I told my mom, hey, she was having a huge pain in her arm, and I told her, Mom, I can send you some healing energy. I'm not there with you, but I know I can send you some energy. I know that a lot of people are doing this and all that. So my mom responds, what? Are you playing to be God? So, wow, like at that moment, because of my insecurity, that was huge. And I was like, oh my God, maybe I'm doing wrong and this is not the way it is. I cannot play to be God. But like you said, we are God. Everything is spirit. Everything is the same source. And so, yes, like it's totally possible. But we block ourselves with so many false beliefs that we heard, that we see like as modeling of members of our families, or through experience that are just limiting, or ability to express ourselves in the best way. So I just want to invite everybody to start seeing that, to start saying, okay, what happened when I was little? What were those beliefs? What do I think about healing or energy when I hear those words? What thoughts come to my mind when I feel? What do I feel about even money? What vibrations do I feel? Like, do I really feel about money or about selling or about marketing or about each and every single aspect of life. Because if we feel discordant energy, if we feel like just negative thoughts, it's because there's things in the past that needs to be cleared and that needs to be transformed into a positive way so we can make the best of us.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, that's absolutely correct. I mean, we have to dig to the core of who we are to reach the shadow side of who we are. And that is not a pleasant journey, as you know, as I know. And I remember when you first came on the show, you mentioned Toxic Parent, and that's one of the best books that I've ever read in my life. And I suggest to our listeners that this is a book that they should read, because this deals with most of our current lifetime experience in one book. Every possible scenario that you can think of that you've experienced as a child is in that book. It's a great deep read, but it will help you understand the way that you think today. I have to say thank you, Isabel, for joining us this evening. I thank everybody for listening. I shall join you again soon, sometime, somewhere. Adios, guapa.
Thank you very much. Adios.
Bye-bye.